Here we go. We're going to focus in on solving right triangle trigonometry equations, just the basic steps of going through and solving for the opposite, the adjacent, or the hypotenuse of a right triangle trig. And the equations are already set up. So let's get started. So you're going to notice automatically for number 13 here, it says cosine 64 equals x over 28. What we're going to want to do in order to solve this problem is eliminate and isolate that x value. So we're going to isolate that x value. And in order to isolate that x value, what we are going to do is multiply by 28 and get it out of the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by 28. I'm going to get that out of the denominator. And I'm going to write 28 times cosine of 64 equals to the 28, and the 28 will cancel, and we are left with x. Now, when we go to Desmos and we make our calculations, the one thing we are going to want to do is make sure we come over to the wrench at the top, which are graph settings, and we are going to go all the way down to where it says radians and degrees. You'll see that down here at the bottom. Radians is highlighted right now. We are doing everything in degrees, and so I'm going to make sure that that is in there. And then what I do is I just type it in, 28 times cosine of 60. Okay, once I have that, you're going to notice that pops up. It is 12.27 is the side length. So x equals to 12.27. Now, we do get into some more complicated problems here. I'm going to write this down here for some space. And it says sine of 24 equals 12.1 over x. Now, in this case, we want to isolate x, but in order to do that, we need to multiply by x to get it out of the denominator. So I'm going to multiply by x, and what it will be left with is x times sine of 24 equals to 12.1. Now, notice this sine of 24 is attached to x by multiplication, so we are going to divide by sine of 24, okay? On both sides. And this will cancel, those signs will cancel, and we'll be left with 12.1 over sine of 24. I go back to Desmos, and we're just going to type it in, same exact way, 12.1 divided by sine of 24. I do need to make, just in case I make sure, I go back to the wrench, it is in degree mode, and it is going to be x equals to 29.7. X equals to 29.7. Now, let's go ahead and keep going, maybe do a couple more just to help you, just in case you're having a hard time. Let's go to number 16 here. And you're going to notice it says tan 51 equals to x over 14.8. We're going to isolate that x. Now, in the last one, we multiplied by x, but the only reason why we multiplied it by x was because it was in the denominator. In this case, we isolate x again by simply multiplying by 14.8. So times 14.8. And I'm going to write this out. 14.8 tangent of 51 equals to x. And it's going to be equal to x because that 14.8 and that 14.8 cancels. Once again, we come back over to Desmos and we just type it in, 14.8 times tangent of 51, okay? And it's going to give us 18.276 or 18.3. Let's go with x equals to 18.3. Now, I know I skipped over to 16, but we've got a moment. Let's go ahead and come back to number 15 here, okay? And if we can come back to number 15, it is going to be helpful for us to recognize that problem one more time of getting rid of x when it is in the denominator. So I'm going to write that out. Cosine of 17 equals to 143 over x. We're going to isolate x, but because x is in the denominator, we are going to multiply by x. Okay, x comes out of the denominator. We're left with x times cosine of 17 equals to 143. And then once that's done, we are going to divide by cosine of 17. You should start to notice a pattern that when you do these, we're always multiplying by what's in the denominator, okay? So cosine of 17 simplifies and we get x equals to 143 over cosine of 17. So come back over to Desmos. I make sure we're still in degree mode. It is highlighted and I type it in 143 divided by cosine of 17. Okay, and that gives me 149.53. Let's just say X is equal to 149.5. All right, I hope that helps y'all be able to solve basic equations with right triangle trigonometry. Y'all have a great day.